Good evening. I'm Nesbert, and I'm presenting on I guess, two parts. Two probable system failures that an organization that uses a database can experience, and how to integrate policy and procedure which enhances its compliance to create greater business productivity. That's the first part. Secondly, we'll delve into the utility of big data, its impact on databases, its impact on business, its impact on productivity, especially in a highly globalized environment. It can help create greater business transparency. It can also smoothen processes through logistics and also reduce human error that happens through manual entry. So, to really begin this conversation around database failures and recovery techniques, and later on big data and its utility, we really need to understand the value of, I guess, databases for companies like Costello, which may be based in one city, but they have many different divisions operating at the same time. They have customers from everywhere around the globe, and we want to find different ways and methods to kind of help all these people speak together to collect the data, centralize it, and have an objective space where data can be accessed, retrieved, and utilized. And also, when operations are happening, this data can also be updated in real time, and also customers' information. Customers' information and privacy is paramount. So we want to create a system that is privy to all these things from the customer end, but also very responsive from the business side. Failures. Now, a system failure can be defined as the disruption to the exchange of information or the flow of information from one point to the next. Some ways a system failure could happen is a power cut. So this disrupts the process but keeps the database intact, provided that it's been backed up. Now, there's a couple of recovery techniques that can be used. A company can engage in a process called rolling forward, which is restoring data to the most recent checkpoint or the most recently saved checkpoint or data point, and they can also roll back. This is reversing any transactions that are incomplete. While doing this, a company needs to make sure that all data and information is encrypted throughout the process to protect the customer sensitive information or account details, for example. Oh, the prevention methods. I guess you could use first, if you're compliant, then you follow the prescribed instructions to ensure that data of your customers is kept safe. You can also use things such as RAID, which is the storage of data on multiple different computers. So when one part of the system fails, you can recover it through other systems. You can also implement data redundancy methodology to ensure that your data is backed up on the cloud. So if there's a failure to one part or one fraction of your business doesn't get disrupted all that much. There is not as much disruption. Now we'll move on to the second, I guess, system failure that can happen. And this is a pretty big one, because this is the actual physical loss or the corruption of data due to, I guess, accidents, cybersecurity, natural disasters, you name it. Anyway, the data is gone. The physical sort of hardware that stores the data is gone. So there's a couple of preventative measures that can be used. There's a couple of recovery techniques that can be used. Obviously, firstly, it's forward recovery. So recovering all your backed up information to the last point that it was saved. And again, before we talked about RAID, which is storing all information on separate computer systems. So if one part gets down or one division is down, you can recover the rest of the information and hopefully keep operating. For Costello, a smart thing to do would be using platforms as a service. This, I guess, it just reduces the amount of energy used to store information. It reduces maintenance costs. It reduces upgrade costs. And it actually gives them more flexibility with the ability to to manipulate the system and service that they have. It allows them to integrate different APIs that improve the customer experience and hold on to the customer retention. It allows them to store their information through cloud redundancy systems. And of course, when we're talking about cloud redundancy, then we have to think about compliance. We have to think about safety. We have to think about creating tiers of access for different staff members to ensure that the data of the customer is kept safe and we build that trust relationship. So to prevent any sort of like trouble happening, you want to use regular encrypted backups. You want to continue to do audit logs. You want to make sure you're compliant with all the, I guess, up-to-date security obligations that companies that store sensitive information on the cloud have to comply to. This may be within storing sensitive information about customers' biometric data, which is sensitive. It may have to do with storing customers' banking data, which is important. And I think for each different division and each different type of information, you have different regulatory obligations and compliant policies that have to be met. So those have to be revisited and kept up to date with. But secondly, what is also needed is to ensure that backups are done for the sake of business functionality and continued productivity. Put it simply, system failures